Today, we often equate religion with a divine power, God or some omniscient force. But if we look at its origins through a logical lens, a very different story unfolds. Religion wasn't born from divine encounters, but from human necessity. Early humans faced a world of fear: thunderstorms, disease, death, and a vast unknown sky. To cope, they wove stories backed with their logic and experience to explain these mysteries. Stories led to patterns and narratives which solidified into beliefs, and eventually into organized religions. Religion forged rules, resolved conflicts, and bonded communities, bringing order to an unorganized society. Over time, these human-made systems came to be seen as direct communications from the divine. In truth, early humans weren't looking for gods in the stars. They were driven by curiosity. That very curiosity later fueled the rise of science. Both religion and science asked, "What's out there?" But one pursued faith, the other, evidence. Have you noticed how religion mirrors geography and culture? Your God often depended on where you were born, not on what you discovered. If God were a universal truth, why would belief systems vary so wildly? The diversity of religions tells us that they aren't divine blueprints. They're cultural operating systems, each written in the local language of its time. More importantly, the scriptures, the sacred manual of all religions we revere, began as oral tales, myths, and histories that taught morality and ethics through metaphor. They weren't downloaded from the heavens. They were human attempts to document the mysteries of life, morality, and meaning, then rewritten and reinterpreted over millennia. So what if religion was never meant to be sacred code from above, but open-source philosophy from below, created by us, for us, and evolving with us? Our journey begins with this very basic but logical question. Religion can be defined as a structured system of beliefs, rituals, and ethics, often linked to the supernatural, but not necessarily dependent on it. It isn't just a set of beliefs. It's a vast ecosystem of scriptures, sacred spaces, art, and music that influence how billions of people live, love, fear, and hope. At its core lie belief systems, the ethical frameworks that guide laws, relationships, and individual identity. Interwoven with these are rituals, the repeated actions that give structure and rhythm to faith. Together, they shape mental habits that influence how people process guilt, celebrate joy, interpret suffering, and search for purpose. So why even consider reframing something as ancient and sacred as religion? Because religion, as it exists today, appears to be designed for a world of tribes and empires, not for a society of satellites, smartphones, and AI. And just like old software needs updates to stay relevant, maybe our belief systems do too. Not to delete the past, but to debug it and make sense of it in the present. So how do we go about it? Foremost is logical structuring. Religious ideas are often scattered, buried in verses, rituals, or oral traditions. But what if we made belief systems searchable, comparable, and auditable, just like a digital database? We could trace how concepts like karma or salvation evolved across centuries and cultures, spot contradictions, clarify meanings, and prevent distortions through transparency. Next, we need a user interface. Not everyone reads ancient languages or grasps dense theology, but everyone deserves access to wisdom in a way that makes sense to them. An intuitive UI, offering layered views, from simple summaries to in-depth analysis, could allow a teenager in Texas or a farmer in Fiji to explore wisdom, not just inherit it. Given the often rigid nature of traditional religions, we need belief systems that offer real-time relevance. A truly dynamic faith framework should be flexible enough to address modern concerns like digital privacy, climate justice, and AI ethics. It should allow for updated interpretations, invite community feedback, and adapt as society changes, a belief system that listens as much as it preaches. Portability and inclusivity are a must to make the system universal. In our global era, people cross cultures and faiths, yet religion still runs on a single operating system. What if belief were multi-language, multi-culture, and open access, a universal platform owned by none, accessible to all? Now, let's get to the core idea. What if religion worked like open-source software? Rewriting religion like software may sound innovative, but it collides with deep emotional bonds, immense textual complexity, and the sacredness believers assign to their scriptures and myths. Any such transformation must be done with profound empathy, because you're not just editing ideas, you're touching the soul of people's identity and history. At the heart of this system is a structured digital foundation, an organized, version-controlled repository for each belief system, collectively forming a central faith hub. Here, ancient scriptures, rituals, stories, and interpretations are stored not as static texts, but as dynamic components. Each teaching or parable functions like a modular code snippet, enriched with metadata detailing its origin, context, symbolic layers, and cultural nuances. This design allows users to navigate religious thought at multiple depths, whether they seek a literal understanding or a more symbolic, philosophical perspective. Contributor protocols define who can suggest changes: scholars, ethicists, and perhaps even AI systems. As an open-source software, they can propose updates through pull requests, not to rewrite divine truths, but to reinterpret them for modern relevance. To ensure quality and prevent misinformation, these pull requests go through a structured review process. First comes community review, where registered users can vote, comment, and discuss proposed edits. Then expert moderators, panels of scholars, theologians, and ethicists, assess each proposal for authenticity and impact. This blend balances transparency with trustworthiness, preventing the system from descending into chaos or propaganda. Version control ensures we don't lose historical context. Each edit is tracked, debated, and archived with full history, like a changelog. This lets users see how interpretations evolved over time and even revert to previous versions if needed. Imagine this as a transparent timeline of religious evolution. No hidden edits, no erased beliefs, just open dialogue and growth. To further enhance transparency and trust, blockchain technology can be integrated. Each approved change is time-stamped and cryptographically recorded on a public ledger, making the history tamper-proof and verifiable by anyone. This prevents unauthorized alterations and builds confidence, especially important in faith contexts where authenticity is sacred. Just like in software, forking allows users or groups to create new branches of belief, new sects or movements, without erasing the original. The system encourages curiosity and questioning, rather than blind acceptance. Then comes governance. No single prophet, priest, or algorithm holds all power. Instead, a decentralized, community-based model reviews suggestions, just like open-source communities vet features or fix bugs. Regular audits, transparent policies, and accountability mechanisms ensure power remains balanced. How about adding AI to the system? Not just as a back-end tool, but as a co-author, guide, and analyst of spiritual frameworks. AI excels at pattern recognition, data organization, translation, and insight extraction. It could act as a belief system architect, organizing data into searchable formats, detecting contradictions, clustering similar doctrines, and identifying common ethical themes across traditions. This reduces superstition and manipulation and fosters interfaith empathy through transparency and collaboration. Imagine uploading the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, and the Quran into an AI model, not to blend them, but to find where they rhyme. Maybe compassion, forgiveness, or humility emerge as shared values. AI could translate abstract doctrines into interactive experiences like chatbots or VR simulations. That's spiritual storytelling, upgraded. More radically, AI could generate new interpretations based on present-day needs. Facing a climate crisis, AI might draw from Vedic or indigenous teachings about harmony with nature. Grappling with inequality, it might spotlight liberation theology or Buddhist detachment from wealth. Of course, all this comes with caution, as AI lacks emotion. It can process the data of divinity, but not the experience. And yes, it could be misused to amplify biases or push ideologies disguised as spiritual suggestions. But does all this sound too idealistic? Perhaps, but we already have functioning models that prove such systems can work. Wikipedia has demonstrated how collaborative knowledge sharing, when guided by community moderation and transparency, can produce a reliable global reference. Linux, one of the most widely used operating systems, thrives on open-source contributions from developers across the world. GitHub offers a structured framework to manage these contributions, tracking revisions, resolving conflicts, and ensuring quality through peer review. These platforms show that openness, when paired with clear protocols and shared purpose, can yield remarkable stability and innovation. There's no reason belief systems couldn't benefit from similar principles. Yes, if religion becomes open source, we all become co-creators. Not just priests, scholars, or gurus, but ordinary people. But considering its sensitive nature, we'll need profound wisdom and mutual respect to ensure this open model doesn't fracture into chaos, or worse, become another tool for control. Now, before we get too excited about this shiny, logical, open-source model of religion, let's pause. Because with every upgrade, something gets left behind. Digitizing religion risks draining its emotional essence. Rituals, sacred spaces, and myths provide comfort, awe, and cultural identity that a screen can't replicate. The warmth of tradition, communal bonding, and oral heritage may be diluted in a digital shift. Religious institutions also provide crucial social support: schools, shelters, festivals, which a tech-based faith may struggle to replace. Plus, a system built on internet access could leave behind billions without digital literacy or infrastructure. So, where does this leave us? Faith has always thrived on certainty, fixed beliefs, sacred texts, unchanging rituals. But can it thrive on flexibility? Can we keep emotional meaning and spiritual depth if belief is treated like software, versioned, forked, and collaboratively evolved? It's not impossible. After all, spirituality is deeply human. It's about meaning, connection, and wonder. Those feelings don't have to disappear just because the framework changes. So, what if religious belief wasn't a fortress to defend, but a frontier to explore? It's not just something we inherit. It's something we shape. A living system that grows with our questions, evolves with our insights, and connects the head with the heart. It reflects who we are, our aspirations, our progress, and our courage to challenge boundaries and collaborate on something greater. So tell me, if religion were open source, would you clone it, challenge it, or contribute something beautifully your own? Let's talk in the comments.